American TESOL presents Free Friday webinars. We're here every Friday. My name is Shelly Sanchez Terrell, and we come to you from anywhere around the world. Today I'm in San Antonio, Texas, but many times I come to you from different places. These are free, so you can always invite someone. We also have, if you're an American TESOL member, you can get a free certification in teaching with technology. And this official certification is the esltech.com course. If you're not, you can still take the course and get the certification for a small fee. This is part of that this webinar series for that, and it's free. So even if you can always attend these for free, get a recording, and you can also of course get an attendance certificate. So um, all the information you can find at esltech.com, or you can go to shelly.com, shellytarot.com, eltplns/eltplns, and you will be able to find all the resources, including the slides, which are free to download in PDF. So we're going to begin. We have over 200 different slides for you to download and access the recordings. And today we're going to talk about network learning, the power of crowdsourcing. And let's go back to that picture. But the power of crowdsourcing your learning. So many of us may have already taken advantage of learning with other English language teachers or language teachers around the world. And I'm going to show you other places to connect. Which is really important for language teachers, because many of us, if you want to teach English and get the word out and you want to teach online, well, it's very helpful to know where to connect. You can get free resources, you always get inspiration. And the reason I'm able to come to you today, the reason I've been able to travel to over 20 countries to train teachers around the world, is because I'm a network teacher. And there's so much support. They really support you. They carry, you see this, I love this picture because they're carrying them through the crowd. And it's these teachers from around the world, and even the ones here today, who help connect you and support you through your teaching journey. So that's what we're going to show you today, is how you can connect online. Where are they? What networks are they at? What is the best way to connect, and give you tips. Now, I think as a language teacher, it's important that you start connecting. One of the reasons is because it makes you be firsthand what your students are going through. So many students, millions of language learners around the world, learn through social networks. They actually come online and they connect different places around the world, and they do it socially. So there's many different features of online connected learning, and it's a great way to learn a language, because learning a language, the difference between, if you go to Rosetta Stone, it's a great language learning program, but you don't get the benefit of practicing the language with other learners around the world. And that's so important. So as a teacher, it's great because I'm going to show you places where you can get your students to connect with other language learners, and they'll thank you for it. And why would you want to do that? Well, the reason you want to do that is because you cannot be the only person teaching your students English. It's important for them to be able to take whatever they learned in your class and to put it into practice. And they will have higher test scores. They will do better with their English reading, writing, listening, because you can do all that online. So it's good to get them on a social network where language learners learn together. So the benefit is, and you don't have to know all this, but this is actually a teacher from Turkey, Ezra Ergin. I think it's, I don't know Ezra. She recently got married, so I have no idea what her last name is right now. But Ezra at Ekaman on Twitter. I will put that Twitter handle. She's my lovely model here, and did this. And so um, it's great to be able to understand that the web at the beginning was where you input information, sort of like a lecture. So people would learn from you from the websites you could create, and that's great. But now the web has evolved to where it's a participatory web. And this is actually what Graham Stanley says, if you knew Graham Stanley. He's very famous for CALL, which is uh, computer aided language learning. And he's an author, he's a teacher trainer, and currently he works for the British Constable, but he's currently in Uruguay. Uruguay. So I'll give you his as well. So he calls it, and he says that now language learners, him and Gary Mortimer, Stephen Bax say that now language learners all over the world have been using the web to connect with each other, and they get to communicate with each other. They can do it through different types of social networks, but they can, a lot of times you probably are familiar with your students learning through Skype. You can still learn language through Skype, but there are other places where millions connect to learn English. Busuu is the largest one, busuu.com. And so you can see some of the Web 3.0 features. The Web 3.0 means that um, they're able to add to the network, the forum. And so Busuu teaches not only English, but you can learn languages all over. It's a great place. They have free things, but they have them do games. They learn language through games, but they also get in competition with each other from the community. So Busuu has over 30 million language learners in its network, and it's a great way to, even if you are a teacher and you're trying to learn a language, try Busuu so you get an idea of what this network learning or Web 3.0 is about. You can see how they can play games, they can talk with each other, they can get in chat groups and talk. So it's a great place to see how language learning online looks like. So you can take ideas, and when you create your own forum, let's say that you build a Moodle platform, let's say you have a Schoology, let's say you can take the features and you can integrate that in your own language learning for your students online. MyEnglish.com, another place for language learners and English language teachers to connect. It's free. You can go there, englishclub.com. And Tara Benwell, who's a fantastic person to follow on Twitter as well. I'll put her. She runs the community, and every week it's free to be here. But your students can participate in poetry chats. They write poetry. They get Tara has them do blog posts. She gives them blog challenge, so they'll do blogging. And so it's a great place. If you want to teach online, you also have the benefit of being a teacher and meeting language learners around the world, because when you do that and you get the word out that you teach online, then this may be potential customers. So that's great about it as well. And that's Tara Benwell. And I put her Twitter as well, so you can follow these people on Twitter. There's game interactive tools. See here, they have ESL games. They have quizzes they can take. One of my favorite things for myenglish.com is they do a dictation exercise. It's so fantastic. So your students get these dictation, they listen to it, and then they repeat it and they type it, and it tells them whether they're accurate or not. And so here you get an idea of what the chat looks like. They have random chats. Students run it, so they get to have that speaking practice. It tells them where they are located, how many are on. So it's a great place for your students to practice what they learn in your class. There's learner created groups. So here you see where there's Skypers, people who Skype with each other and practice. And I think this is great because what happens is a lot of my English language students want me to go and they want me to practice with them on Skype. And I don't have time for that, and you don't have time for that. So get them together with other language learners. They can learn English together and they have the benefit and they're happy with you. There's different ones. There's people, who do poetry, who have chats about politics. I mean, so they have things where they play games together. There's a lot of different things that they can do. Another great free language community where they can practice listening and speaking. So they practice listening and speaking is voxapop.com. Voxapop is a social network you can join for free, and it's where you have talking conversations. And what it looks like here is when you have Voxapop, it just records the voice. So if somebody adds a discussion, they have TESOL groups, so it's another great one to check out. So where do language teachers connect? Well, you can find them in those areas, but those are mostly for language learning. Those few places that I showed you, and that's a great way to give additional support for your students so they can become connected learners, because it's good for them to practice that. But I think that one of the other added benefits of connected learning is to receive support as a teacher, because you want to see what others in your field are doing. You want to stay on top of the latest trends. For example, here you can find out at americantesol.com, because I'm a network learner. I bring you webinars with the latest tools. And if I wasn't a connected learner, then my information would be outdated. And so it's important for me, as one of the leaders in education technology, and especially in the field of English language teaching, that I know what's out there and what students are doing and what teachers are doing. So you can have that benefit as well. I wouldn't be able to do it without my network, and I meet them on social media. About 4 years ago, LinkedIn reported that the number of teachers on their social networks was nearly 1 million. So there's definitely over 1 million teachers from all over the world on social networks. And there are billions of authors and researchers and language trainers and organizations like American TESOL, where you can find many teachers to connect with, and they share their resources for free, just like I'm sharing with you for free. And so you can find some really quality training, and you can access lesson plans for free. You can access practice tests for free. I mean, you can access a whole bunch of things. So the first step is to find out what social networks are you on. And in the chat box, you can type the social networks that you're already part of. Are you part of Twitter? Are you part of Facebook? Because teachers connect in every social network. So, for example, if you're on Pinterest, there are tons of great language teachers that are pinners. I am one of them. In fact, my mother even uses Pinterest. She loves Pinterest. Instagram, there are tons of teachers that connect on Instagram. There are tons who connect on LinkedIn. You can find them on webinars, just like this one here. You can go to American TESOL. American TESOL has an Instagram. We have a Twitter. They have their own Facebook page. So you can definitely connect with the social networks in American TESOL. And in fact, there's a lot of teachers, language teachers and you can find out about them. I'll go ahead and share with you those links, but the YouTube channel and things like that. But when you go to American TESOL, one of the great things is that American TESOL also has a great YouTube channel, and that's where we show over the 200 recordings that we've done for the last 4 years of these webinars. But we also have a Twitter. You can find lots of people on Twitter. Google Plus, which is soon leaving, so it's transitioning into pictures and images only. Skype, you can find a lot of language teachers there. Voxers, one of the new social networks where there's a lot of teachers that connect. And so you can find any of these social networks that you're on, you can connect with teachers. Now you might say, how do I find them? Well, there's different ways you can find them, but the most easiest way is to connect with a hashtag. And I'll tell you a little about that in just a sec. Right now, it's important to understand that all of this does come with supported theory and pedagogy. It's called the theory of connectivism, and connectivism is by Stephen Downes and George Seaman, who are both the founders of connectivism. And what they say is they talk about how when we're on social networks and we're learning, we're not just our learning is impacted by who we connect with. So, who you follow on Facebook, who you follow on Twitter, who you follow on Instagram, they are part of your learning because every single day you get probably your phone like me and you'll go to, for example, I'll take you to Instagram. There's my Instagram account there. And you stream and you read quite quickly and you digest this information. So when you stream, whoever you follow, that's what you're going to see. You're going to see their information. You're going to see what they do. Oh my gosh, Joe Dell has joined us, who's amazing, amazing person to connect with in different social networks. And actually is the founder of the MFL Twitterati. So this is a foreign language network on Twitter. So definitely Joe Dell can send you some information so you can connect with him. And Joe Dell, I just recently, he's part of my PLN, my personal learning network. So you might say, what is PLN? This is an acronym I see everywhere, but I have no idea. Well, this is me. And this is Vicky Samuel, Cecilia Lemos, Jennifer Bershore. Cecilia Lemos and Jennifer Bershore have both done American TESOL webinars. They're the ones who stand in for me when I cannot be available. They have ran these before, so I really appreciate them. Marissa Constantinides, who is my teacher trainer, she's the one I got my CELTA from Greece, and I lived with her in Greece for a while to get this teacher training certificate. And then, of course, there's Bruno Andrade. So all of these people from Brazil are around the world. How did I meet them? I connected with them, and now they're part of my personal, professional, passionate, that's my term, learning network. So here's some more people. These are people I connect with every time I go to a conference. It's great because I've connected with them on social networks. So if you're going to conference, and if you've ever gone to conference and you say, I've only had 5 people show up or 2. Well, if you connect online, your world will change because you find real people, you make real world connections, you make these people become your friends. So this is me having my birthday in Paris. And these are all the people who came to the party. Well, it was because I was attending Bethany Cagnos. At the time, she was the president of TESOL Paris, and so I went to TESOL France, and I was able to participate here. And then I was able to meet all these wonderful people that I connected with online. And they share their resources. All of them are English language teachers and bloggers. They're all over. Business English, they teach business English. They teach ESP, English for specific purposes. They teach EFL, English as a foreign language. So in all of these areas, I've been able to really find information for anything I need to know. And as I was saying, you can find a lot about this, even if you're in ed tech, whatever field you are in English language teaching. If you're an aviation English, if you teach architects English, engineers, science, even physics, for English. If you do CLIL, you can find an expert all over the world by connecting online. So you can find the theory of this at connectivism.ca/about.html. And Peggy George, excellent for sharing resources in the chat. So it's very, very awesome. By the way, I will have to say something to Joe Dell after this. So Joe, stick around because I recently mentioned you in something very big. So it's up to you what you want to do. So the great thing about connectivism and the great thing about personal, passionate, professional learning networks is you get to make the choices. You might say, I don't have any time. Trust me, I hardly have any time in the world. So for me, when I'm getting my hair done, which I recently did, I was able to send information about this webinar because connectivism, because I'm able to go online, because I have the apps downloaded to my mobile device. So I'm able to let you know about this webinar and connect with you. So I think it's up to you. What do you want to learn? What type of English language teacher are you? Are you in business English? Are you ESP? Are you wanting to know about education technology in English language teaching? What is the best tool? Well, there might be many. What networks are you on? Are you on Instagram? Then that's a start. Go to the networks you already are on, Facebook, Twitter, whichever ones, and start connecting there with language teachers. Who do you want to connect to? Do you want to connect with authors? There's many. There's Jeremy Harmer. There's Scott Thornberry. There's Ken Wilson. All of these people are English language teachers. There's David Crystal. They all have blogs. They're all on Twitter or Facebook they let you connect with them. You can actually have conversations with Scott Thornberry. You can find him at Scott Thornberry you can do a search, or you can do his Twitter is, I think it might be Thornberry Scott, but you can find it with following hashtags. Now, the most important hashtags, I think these are some of the most important hashtags, I believe, for finding people in English language teaching. I was a part of and I almost got an Elton. I was nominated for an Elton along with Marissa Constantinides. And of course, Joe Dell's MFL Twitterati. Sorry, I was doing English language teaching, but you can find a lot of language teachers at MFL Twitterati as well. For ELT Chat, so I was one of the founders of ELT Chat, which was the first language teaching chat, English language teaching chat for teachers around the world. And it still goes on. Marissa Constantinides, who you saw a picture of, runs that currently. ELL Chat is more American based. So if you're an English language teacher and you want to connect with teachers around the world, then you find a lot from there. Language Chat has a lot too. So if you're like a Spanish language teacher, you teach other languages, foreign languages, then Language Chat is very great. You can find tons of teachers to work with there. ELT MOOC, a lot of times they have, that's Jason, who's a really good friend of mine as well, at Fluency MC. And so he does a lot with ITT on. He did some of the first ELT, English language teaching, massive open online courses. There's TEFL, who just recently had a free online conference, so you might want to go back and check the TEFL hashtag. ELT Pix, YLT Sig, Belta, all business English, TESOL, of course. At ESL, there's TEFL, there's EFL, there's tons and tons. You can find all of these, and teachers gather every day on Twitter and they chat with each other. Language chat is one of the biggest ones. But once you can use hashtags in Instagram, you can use them in Facebook, you can use them on Google Plus as well, while it exists right now, and of course on Twitter. So hashtags help you find and connect with people who are active on social networks. You can browse their blogs, you can quickly connect with them and see what information they have to share. So you can go to eltchat.org. You can see the topics. They archive every single chat. They give you all the resources that those teachers shared for the last 4 years. Then, of course, one of the other great places is the Teach English site, which has now over 3 million. So you can have over 3 million people that you connect with. If you go to Facebook and you go to there, you will find them. EVO sessions. So a lot of times teachers connect by participating on courses together. So you can go to EVO sessions. This is part of TESOL. I run one every year. I'm actually one of the coordinators for EVO, the Electronic Village Online. So you can see our upcoming schedule in 2016. There are free courses in January to February 2016. You'll get a certificate as well. You can find thousands and thousands of video recordings. I told you about the wonderful American TESOL, of course, a Facebook. We have a Facebook. We have a YouTube channel, and the YouTube channel is one of the best ways to find all of our webinars. We have over 230 minutes, absolutely free. And if you watch them, and you can go to shellyterrell.com webinars, then you can go and you can also download the slides. But not only that, you can go to shellyterrell.com and you can slash webinars, and you can also get a certificate for these. So you just fill out the Google form, then whichever ones you saw at your own rate, at your own pace when you had time to do it, and I'll send them to you. So quite easy. You can get a certificate of attendance. What is the best way to connect? Well, how do I manage it all? The way that I manage it all is, honestly, I do a lot mobilely. I even do my chats mobilely. So currently I am doing another chat, badge chat, so digital badges. And so the way that I actually do this, I have to do a lot of the things on my phone. I use the regular Twitter app. I also have apps for Facebook. I have Instagram. I have Google Plus. I have all of them. You can see the icons. And they help me connect very, very easily to the social networks that I need to connect with. It's one of the fastest way. In fact, you can see some of mine. And in fact, you can see this one for Flipboard. There's Pinterest. One of the ones that I use is I run Facebook pages, so I have to do a separate app for that so I can post things on my face. But there's also a lot of apps that will help you manage it all. One of them is Every Post. Okay, so Every Post is one of the social. There's also Buffer, but as an app, these are all free apps as well. So I use Every Post quite a bit, and then I use Buffer. And both of these, what they let me do, I also use IFTT.com. So you'll notice that a lot of times what these do is these are third-party apps. And what they do is they help you with your productivity. So I'll put IFTT.com there. It's the reason one I use. All I do is, if you see on Twitter where I put a hashtag FB. Now, hashtag is a number sign, so I put that. And if you see that on Twitter, what it means is that it automatically posts to my Facebook page. See how easy that is? Because I don't have enough time to go post everywhere. So it's good to have these apps that will allow me to post in all my different social networks all at one time. It saves you a lot of time. You can try TweetDeck. TweetDeck is an app on, I think, Firefox, but it definitely is on Chrome. You can access it, and what it does is it makes Twitter more manageable. It makes it easier to chat. You can see people to connect with right away who mentions you. You can see your message. You can follow hashtag conversation. You can schedule tweets, and so it's really quite awesome. I like it. Yes, it is. Actually, Peggy mentions that IFTT is terrific, but then it can be tricky to set up, and that's true because the first couple of recipes I used, I did a test run. So if you've seen me make some mistake, it's because I didn't do my I was testing out my IFTT recipes. IFTT gives you recipes. So what you can do, it's called if this then that. So if I tweet, then, and I put FB, the pound sign, then post to my Facebook page, Facebook.com, Shelly Terrell. And that's one recipe I set up. I tried to do one for calendar and spreadsheets. It didn't work. So some things work, sometimes don't. But the thing is that you get to see all these, and these are free apps you can use. So Peggy says I should do a webinar at IFTTT. I should. I definitely should. So how do you connect? Let's say you connect, you get all these apps, you're ready to go. Now what? Well, then you follow this formula that I've come up with. This is my own invention. which is connect, communicate, collaborate, and create. And it's actually a process here. So you connect with other teachers. How do you do that? You have to show a profile. Communicate with them something like, thank you, this was a great resource. I love when teachers tell me that. I don't care if they have 50 followers, I don't care if they have 20. I follow them and I retweet something of them. In fact, what I try to do if someone retweets me or just connect with them, you'll notice that I will go into their stream and I will do the courtesy of tweeting something that I find valuable in their Twitter stream. This is something I've done a lot of recently and I love it. So the next one is, after you communicate a nice message, say thank you for this resource. I love your blog. Anything. Teachers appreciate that. If they don't, well, there's millions of teachers on social networks. One of them will. Then you collaborate. Like when you feel comfortable enough, when you've been on a social network for a while and you meet a great teacher to connect with, like I have, Joe Dell and Peggy George and some of the other ones here, Zubia, have all participated, and Turgay have all participated in different projects that I run, and Kathy as well, and I think Claire as well. And so many of you have connected with me, and we've done great things together. For example, Peggy and I run a lot of online conferences together. So you create a profile. Where do you create a profile? Well, I personally like about.me. It's good, but this is my flavors.me. There's visualcv.com. Google Plus, I don't know what they're going to do with the profile, but it's a great way to connect and also make a great profile, professional one. I have mine on Live Binders as well. So you make a profile so teachers know. When you're on Twitter or Facebook, you have to write a short bio. Usually it's 160 characters or less. Why is it 160 characters? Because this is an interesting fact I recently learned. Does anyone know why 160 characters is, why Twitter is 140 characters, but a lot of times the bios are 160 characters? Because this is what was first allowed as a text message. So they mimic text messages because Twitter in the beginning was through text. You actually access Twitter through texting. So if you joined Twitter 8-9 years ago, then you did it through texting. And that is why you have these limits. They've gotten a little bit bigger. Facebook allows you. So you want a short bio, something that says teacher, educator, and then something fun. Do something, a one-liner. Me, I'm the proud mama of Roscoe the pug. Very beautiful little pug who's getting his fiesta pictures. I'll send one of my blue bonnets with you soon, which is Texas flower. So you can see my pug on my Instagram if you follow me on Instagram. Have a professional photo, or you can have a photo that's a cartoon. That's fine. A lot of people do different ones. Links to your work. What do you share? Well, there's tons for you to share. What is it in your heart? And don't think when you get on a social network that everybody has heard it. So the thing is that when you connect online, you might think, oh, everybody's heard of Edmodo, everybody's heard of, things like that, but it's not true. There's new people who come online every single day. There's new English language teachers and they haven't heard it. So share your wins, share things, your favorite lesson in your class, even if it's not with technology. A lot of my favorite teaching resources are not with technology, even though I'm a technology trainer. Your wins, your successes, things you struggled with. A lot of teachers really appreciate just reading a blog post or reading something that says, oh, I had a tough day with my students today, because they have tough days. And together you can find out what works. Links, lessons, ideas, your passion. Share some other people's ideas that you think are really exciting. Your favorite book that you just read. Teachers are connecting all the time and they want to hear from you. So these are all the places that I've connected with. If you follow me on the different social networks, and I'll give you a link to them in a bit, then you can find all the free professional development that I do run. So of course there's American TESOL that I've been doing for the last 4 years. And thanks to Jonathan Lazarus and all of and people who put this together because it's free every Friday for you. And then, of course, we have the EBO session. Craft. Well, now it's called Textbook Teachers. You can find with the hashtag ebook EBO, and you can even Google hashtags, and they'll take you to the information you need. The Reform Symposium, which is an online conference that Peggy, George, and I have run. I've run different Moodles, Facebook page. There's 30goals.com. You can find a lot if you go to 30 goals edu. We have an RSCon Facebook page. So there's different places you can connect. And of course, you can find all this information if you go to the Pearl Trees. And I will get that Pearl Tree address to you, put it in the chat box. So you can go and you can find all this information there, including a wonderful blog post that I wrote that gives you all of these links. You don't even have to have saved the links, but you can find it there. And then, of course, we have you can connect with me online. You can go to my blog, shellyterrell.com/ELTPLN. You'll find this information. Shelly at Facebook.com, Google Plus, Shelly Sanchez Terrell, Twitter.com, Shell Terrell. So you can Google Shell Terrell, Shelly Sanchez Terrell, Shelly Terrell, and you'll find me right away on everything. So thank you so much for connecting with me, and I hope to see you soon somewhere around the world. The next place I will be giving a keynote is actually in Tennessee, April the 30th. And then I will be in, let's see, I will be in Australia soon. So you can see me there as well. And then there's online conferences. Peggy George will be helping me run a conference later on. I believe we're having it in June, the 30 Goals Conference. It's free to attend online. So thank you so much for all of you connecting today, and connect with the teachers online in this network. Share your Twitter handle, your Facebook, whatever you want, put it in the chat box. We'll connect with you. And thank you so much. And plus, it'll be on video, so that's even cooler, right? So the other people can connect with you as well, because even though we have a few join us here in the live, we have hundreds